We're alive. We're live and alive. Let's see if I can move this to a better spot. Yes. Yeah. The Monday live stream is underway. Mike Mason's here, first one. If I had a door prize, you would get it. Right. Hold on while I mess with this. I'm not entirely ready. No, it doesn't look good no matter what I do. Okay. Hey, Marty's here. Hello. Buckskin NYB is Marty. Let's see. I was trying to mess with the phone to see if I could get the live stream to be filmed through my new phone, but it still wants to hook up with my old phone. Yeah, it doesn't want to break up with my old phone and hook up with my new phone. I don't know what to do. Stylely Designs is here. Hello. Okay, so we'll wait around. For those of you who don't know, if you're brand new, I do live streams 3 times a week. They're 2 hours each. First hour, I chat. Next hour, I do some Flintknapping. And then I try to wrap it up by, checking the chat, making sure I answer all the questions. Did the kid make it today? I don't know what that means. The kit or the box? Yeah, I got your box today, but I don't know if it was a kit because I didn't open any boxes. I got 2 boxes today. Yes. So I did get yours, Marty. KRF. Okay. Not kid, but KRF. All right, so it's KRF in the box. Okay, so yeah, it arrived today. Jesse says, "Hey peeps, happy Monday, Patrick. Nice items today. I'm glad you think so. Yeah, I did them in a hurry. Yeah. It's much easier for me to do the little bitty points. I didn't do any Scots Bluff this week. No. Those take a minimum of 1 hour each. Hey, Jerry, what's up, nappers? Jeremy, not Jerry, Jeremy. Jay Valente is here. Good evening, folks. Evening. Yeah, I was almost late with the live stream. I was late with the auction a little bit, and I'm almost late with the live stream because I'm trying to get my new phone to match up with my computer, but it doesn't do it. How was the family visit this weekend? It was good. Very relaxing, actually. We had dinner. We sat around, and then we watched the kids on their, ride their bicycles on the little trail down by the lake. Easy day. This was Saturday. Yeah. I also went to go visit them on Friday, but that was even easier because we just sat there and talked. Yeah. So, questions, comments, and complaints. On the first hour, I just look at the chat and see what's going on. Yeah. There's an auction going on right now, but it's not a live auction, which means I don't have to announce any winners until 9 p.m. Eastern time. And I just close it. There's no signal to close it or anything. I just announce the winners starting at 9:01 p.m. Eastern time. I'll check it right now and make sure I've got the likes on all the bids. If you see a like on your bid, that means I see it, right? Sometimes bids and comments don't show up. All right, so there's a lot of bids on number 1 that I missed. Yeah, I missed those. And a lot of bids on number 2 that I didn't see earlier. That's strange. 23 minutes ago and 20 minutes ago. Dang, what did I do during that time? Well, obviously I wasn't checking my phone. I don't remember what I did. Aaron Wilson's here. Got my t-shirt, but ordered the wrong one. I have to get another one. Jim Cooper. Hey, Pat. Hey, Jim. Yeah, ordering the t-shirts, if you don't get, first of all, it takes forever, and then if you get the wrong size, oh boy. I got to think of another faster way to do this. I mean, that they print out good t-shirts, but it needs to be faster. I got to find a faster way. So lots of good bids. Dang it. Mike Tufts, are you here yet? I can't remember. Ed Gould is here. We've been here waiting. Yeah. Mike Tufts napping kits are selling pretty good. I mean, for a good price. Shipping's included, yes, but still. Yeah. They're pressure flakers and files, and what do you get? And you get a pad. And yeah, the pressure flakers have little set screws so you can adjust them. Oh, yeah, you get 2 copper nails. Aaron Wilson says, I got the standard one. I have to get the wide world of Flintknapping. Still love my crafty napper. I'm glad. Good. Jim Main is here. Hello. Hey, everyone. You have some sweet points in the auction tonight. I'm glad you think so. Yeah, I've got a lot of bids, and I look away for a few minutes trying to figure out how to connect my new phone to my computer, and then all the bids start coming in. Yeah. So if you're new watching the live stream, there is an auction every Monday. If you don't know that, I don't know where you've been. I probably lost a lot of new people that were just kind of checking out videos, and then all of a sudden I have an assistant, an AI assistant pop up in the videos. So my audience is shifting a little bit. Jay Valente says, Patrick, have you tried Antler Indirect? I know you used to use lots of Antler tools. What do you mean, have I tried it? I started with it. My first indirect percussion tools, when I first invented the behind the knee technique, were Antler tools. That's why I devised that technique for Antler. Yeah. I guess you didn't know that. A lot of people don't know that. I started as an Antler only person. Yeah. So yeah, I spent 2 years making gravel with antlers and hammerstones and bones and all that stuff. I tortured myself with it on raw stone because I had no idea what heat treating was. And no one gave me any good stuff. I thought I was napping the regular stuff. It was bull gravel, what I started with. Well, before the Antler, I had these pliers and screwdriver method. And that was just a start. And I said, I'm watching these videos and these guys are using antlers and stuff. Is that the way you're supposed to do it? So I spent a bunch of money on antlers, and then I got some antlers off my brother-in-law, and I bought moose antlers. And for 2 years, I was making gravel with antlers after the pliers and screwdriver thing. And then I switched over to modern tools, yeah. Because I didn't want to torture myself anymore. And if you go to my Allergic Hobbit channel, you can see my Antler indirect percussion. Yeah. Let's see. Maybe I should do a video. I'll have Sev announce that I used to be an Antler person. Yeah. And she'll put her own spin on it. Developing that character has been fun. Yeah. Let's see. Jim Cooper says, so I'm late in getting you grinders out. Been incredibly busy, and ADHD has been kicking my ass, but I threw in a few sweet amoeba flakes and a forest green sparkling cider bottle bottom for you to try. Cool. Eccentric Adam says, yeah, she's hot though. Yeah, I noticed you've been approving of her videos. I see your comments. Yeah. Okay, Jay says, cool, I'll have to go back and look. Yeah, look on my Allergic Hobbit channel. And I think I do have some antler indirect videos, but I don't think I call them antler indirect videos. Right? No, I just go back into the early ones. Yeah, Sev says no antler people. Yeah. But you know what the antler people are, right? The people that say you're not doing it right unless you use anything but metal. If you use metal, you're not doing it right. You got to use the natural materials, not copper though, because it's not naturally enough apparently. Yeah, that group is a little cultish. You know what I mean? Not that people that insist on using only antler are all in that camp, but they go around to other channels and they start criticizing or they say that's not the way to do it. If they're criticizing and say that's not the right way to do it, those are the antler people. Yeah. Brendan says smash the like button. Yes, yes. You got 21 people and only 7 likes. That means only 1 out of 3 have index fingers. Yeah. Right? Smallzilla says, hello, hello, Patrick. Hello, Harley. Jay says, I'm thinking about going back to being an antler person, perhaps for a few days until I hurt my neck again. Yeah, go back to, you know, go back to using the hammer stones and stuff. It's an eye opener. Harley asks me, has my package arrived for you yet? No, I don't think yours was one of the packages I got today, Harley. Who did I get the packages from? I already told Marty or Buckskin NYB. I got his, but who was the other one from? I don't know. Let's see. Hey guys, good to see you all, says Ken. Hope you had a good weekend. Yeah, I had a good weekend. I made my first glass point. Sweet. Eccentric Adam says the antler people are the Flintknapping equivalent of vegans. Yes, definitely. Mike Mason says, hey, PGK and everyone else, I missed because I am distracted. Yeah, but you got here within 13 minutes. Yeah. Some people are going to show up at 8:02 and go, hey, everybody, well, how's it going? I'm ready to chat. It's already over, dude. I've been waiting until a little bit after the closing just to see the people that show up and go, hey, how's it going, dudes? We're closing the doors, you know. It's like when you own. I used to know people that owned a nightclub, and it's like watching people come up to the door after she locks it up. The owner was a female. She locked it up, and the people would come up to the door and go, hey. And it goes, hey, what do you mean, hey? It's closed. Like the live stream. They go, hey, wait, what are you doing? Let's see. Jay Valente says, so copper and antler in one tool? Yeah. Jay, do you know about the copper pressure flaker in the book by William Ritchie, the New York book? Hold on. Maybe you don't know. Let's see. Not everybody watches every single one of my videos. Yeah. Not everybody watches every single one of my videos, and especially the ones that are debunking the copper or the copper myth. This book here, okay, it says it's Archaeology of New York State by William Ritchie, and I have it bookmarked here just for the antler people. That there's a pressure flaker artifact made of copper. This is the original, made of copper on the ends, copper there and copper there. This is a drawing, supposedly in mint condition. Okay, I'll give you a little close up. See if. All right, it's I don't know what period that is, but it's before contact with Europeans. Okay, it's The meadowwood phase, 3,000 to 2,400 before present. Okay? So thousands of years before present. What page is that on? Let me see. Page 185. And a lot of people, I guess, haven't seen this. And I did a video on this, except I use bone instead of copper. I need to do one where I use copper. Yeah. And then give you the dimensions. I write down the dimensions. Because it doesn't have the dimensions in here. It just has a scale, which is all right, but it's better to have a drawing with dimensions on it. Yeah. In case you didn't know. So the Indians, they use copper before European contact for pressure flakers and stuff. And in knapping. Johnny Waring is here. Hello, hello. Let's see here. Thomas Thompson says Pat is a cool napper. I'm glad you think so. Mike Mason says I was first today, so I'm going to pat myself on the back. Let's see. Let's see. Jesse says, I'm learning Avo with Antler first, but I'm not going to torture myself forever. I'm going to switch to my nice modern tools I made just to say I know how to make them like you did. Yeah, see? You gotta experiment a little bit just to see what it's like. Eccentric Adam says, I've been watching the backlogs. I'm really appreciating the rise in sarcasm. Yeah. Jay says, I catch the videos whenever I can. I'm usually driving. I do not have that book yet, but I have seen the copper flaker artifact. Cool. Jeff Jin is here. Hello, hello. Ken says, I just learned about the Chalcolithic age or the Chalcolithic age. Aaron says, I spent years using Abo tools only because I didn't have access to copper tools. I can do everything I do now with Antler, but with what's available these days, there's no reason to use copper. Not to use copper. Yes, yes. JF Baird is here. Styly Designs says, cool. Ken says, copper is very prized by the Coast Salish and others in the Pacific Northwest. They have these massive whale tail shaped relics made of pure copper. Awesome. Yeah, there's copper naturally found in other areas in the United States, but the Great Lakes areas has the biggest concentration for North America. Tom Brown says hello. Chalcolithic age, it followed the Neolithic and preceded the Bronze Age. Okay, so that's Europe. Okay. JF Baird says, I want Sev to try napping. Yeah, I can make that happen by filming another napper and then overlapping Sev's image onto that napper. Not me, because I don't have the right proportions, right? But like I can find someone, maybe my niece, I can film, and then I can, for added fee and lots of money, I can superimpose any image I want over someone in a video. A Bigfoot image, a monkey, any kind of humanoid image, alien. I can put anybody over or anything over someone in a video, but it costs money. And it's more money than I want to spend. But there are videos out there where they've superimposed ancient Greek warriors over people. Bigfoot is one of the popular ones. The Yeti also is a popular one where they, the northern Bigfoot with white fur, the Yeti, and other things like medieval knights and stuff. Yeah. I could do it, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to because it costs too much. Yeah. Maybe it'll get cheap in the future, but it'll be interesting though. Ken says, sorry, it was the Copper Age. Let's see. Jim Cooper says, I know the Southwest copper tools were around quite a bit because there's native copper deposits all over down there. They used it for tools and weapons and decorations, everything they could use it for in the Southwest. Yeah, you'll find copper beads a lot in areas where there was natural copper deposits on the surface. You'll find a lot of beads, and that's your first clue that they used copper for stuff. Now, if they use it for knapping, I don't know. We don't know exactly, except in certain areas, if we can find copper artifacts that look like only knapping tools and not like anything else, then we can say, yeah, they used it for knapping. Let's see. Jay says, didn't know you had a channel, Ken. I'll check it out. Yeah, check out the channels. Lots of native copper here in the Northwest, too. Yep. Ken says, oh, Jay, I'm a big fan of your videos, man. I watch them a lot. Just realized who you are. Oh, dang. Let's see here. Dwayne Griffin's here. Hello. Let's see. Dwayne Griffin. Oh, yeah. He sends me a lot of gloves. Now, Dwayne, remind me if I have something in the pipeline for you. Do I owe you something? I think there's something that you wanted for your display. Yeah. I'm going to be working on a bunch of that stuff. Not only your stuff, but a bunch of other stuff. I'm slowly getting them out the door. It's kind of a trickle right now, but once I get into the flow, it'll be faster and faster. Yeah. And the weather's good, luckily. It's been cool lately, so I have more energy to do stuff when it isn't blazing hot in the shop. Killer Cork is here. Where you been, man? Hello, hello. I haven't seen you in a while. Dwayne says, I'll text you. All right, perfect. Perfect. Adam says, I'm having issues snapping everything in half. Yeah. There's times where I go through that too, where everything I touch, and it has a lot to do with when I'm tired, I'll snap everything. The tips off, I'll snap it in half, or I'll snap the preforms or the bifaces early. I'll just mess up a biface really early, like blowing off a big chunk of it or scooping out a big chunk of it when I'm tired. I cannot nap effectively when I'm tired. I can nap under any circumstances and still, make stuff, but they don't look that great. Let's see. Ken says, I have that problem too, Adam. I think it's because I'm working the middle too much instead of the tips in the end. Yeah, work the ends first and then go to the middle. That's my suggestion. Jesse says, I just got a super nice piece of Michigan float copper to use as a billet. Looks super cool. Nice. Sometimes I bought some what they call float copper off a website, and it was just, it wasn't a natural piece. It was modern copper that had been melted down and kind of shaped, and I don't know where they shaped it, but it looked like float copper from the picture, but I got it and it was just modern copper. So you got to watch out for scammers. I got scammed on that one. Adam says, I feel like I'm mostly snapping my bifaces in half, but I work so many hours, I'm always tired. Yeah. That's the thing. Napping goes much better when you're rested. Mike says, basal strikes is what gets me 2 pieces of one arrowhead most often. Yeah, that's if you there's a trick to it. Like you can reduce the snap in half, when you hit the base. We're always hitting the base, right? Toward the end, just to thin it down. If you hit it like you want to flute it, you're going to snap it in half in most cases. So you've got to hit it at an angle. So take flakes off from like a corner here going that way, and thin it like that. Thin it, and then the other way going the other way like this. Try to thin it at an angle and not from the base like this. You can thin it from the sides, or instead of directly from the base at an angle and going in. So angle it a little bit, and the shock is slightly different. It twists it rather than rocking it like this. It doesn't teeter-totter it. It kind of twists it when you hit at a diagonal. Okay? So try the diagonal hits, or the across this way, and never thin directly from the base. I can get away with doing that because I've had a lot of years of experience, and I know how to hold back on it. But a lot of times when I do it, it creates a step fracture at the base. So I try not to hit directly unless I'm trying to do a flute, right? But yeah, that's my advice. Fox 3 from the UK. Hey, Marco. Hello, everybody, he says. Mac Bales is here, says hello. Killer Cork says, I received the Jefferson City Lost Lake auction point today. It's awesome. I love it. Cool. I'm glad you like it. Ken says, I have a pure copper cup that was used for making Moscow mules. Trying to figure out how to make it into a tool. No idea. Ed Gould says, I had a stretch years ago that almost every finished point, I would drop it and it would hit the leg on the chair or something and it'd be in pieces. Really discouraging. So I started finishing them on the tabletop. Ah, I see. Adam says, oh, angled basil strikes. Takes mental note. Probably will forget. Angled basil strikes. Yeah. I'll keep repeating that. Or straight across and never from that way. Just stop hitting that way. If it's breaking on you every time you hit it there, don't hit it there anymore. Hit it somewhere else. And you can even hit from up here down toward the base. You just got to watch out for the overshots. Yeah. Some people say you could still overshoot it and it works. All right, fine. If you like missing or losing part of the base, you can overshoot it. You know? But it's, it doesn't preserve length. Mike says, solid advice, but I found 4-leaf clovers and a 5-leaf clover, and I got to test. I don't understand what that is in reference to. Okay. Ross says, hey, Patrick, do you need any backstrap sinew? I have a bunch. Yeah. I'm making some bowstrings, and I need some backstrap sinew. So, yeah. Perfect. Yep. I'll be making several bowstrings. I made one out of rawhide recently, and now I got to make another. I got to make one out of good sinew. Backstrap is stronger than leg sinew, I found out. So, yeah, I can use some. Thank you. Let's see. Adam says, I always make islands anyway. Then I strike from the basil side. Yeah. You just got to hit harder from the side. Grind it a lot on the sides and then hit harder. And then it'll reach. It's not going to, you can try it and eventually you'll get used to how much you can get away with. You can also hold it. Wrap some leather around it, hold it, and then nap it so it doesn't snap. That's the way I do flutes. I either hold it like this, and then there's a little pocket right in there where the flake ends up traveling. I stabilize it like this and then hit it with indirect percussion or direct percussion. See what I'm saying? You can stabilize it by holding it in your grip. That's how I do Clovis and other fluted or basal thinned points. I hold it like that. It works for larger points too. Just got to make sure that this remains firm. Don't be all squishy and loose with it. You got to hold it firmly and then strike. Angled basal strikes are new to me, says Mac. Referencing testing my luck on basal strikes, says Mike Mason. Yeah. Where's the sun coming in from? Don't tell me I gotta close the shades. Hold on a second. Yep, I gotta close the shades. I can't be napping with the sun. Where is with the sun in my face? Yes? Yeah, I think that did it. Okay. I'm gonna nap starting in the second hour, I've got like 28 minutes before I start napping. So if anyone's waiting, you can go and do something else for 28 minutes and come back. What am I gonna nap? I got some coral, some heat-treated coral that I'm going to be napping very carefully. There's this piece that I took off is in the auction as a flake in the box of flakes and bifaces. But I got more of it, and I'll be taking off flakes very carefully. So I might not even get very far with it. But that's what I'll be napping. I don't have anything else besides I have this, but I'm going to be using this as a tool later in other videos. Right? If I ever get around to using my stone tools for woodworking. Let's see. Fluting is easy if you prepare, says Thomas Thompson. If you prep. Yeah, fluting is, once you get used to it too, you got to make sure you not only prep with your equipment, but prep with practice to get used to it. Yeah. Some rock is just snap and half-ish though. So if you've got rock that's very snap and half-ish, there's very little you can do to prevent it from doing that. Yeah, it's going to snap in half by looking at it weird. Yeah. I've seen stone like that too that I thought was root beer chert, and it was a snap and half-ish root beer looking chert. It did look like root beer chert, and I was having all kinds of fun making little bifaces, and then when it came to hitting the flute into the base, it was snap in half no matter what I do. It has to do with the brittleness of the material as well. Some of them you're not going to be able to do with the fluting without some kind of jig, just because it's too snap and half-ish. Killer Cork says Coffee with a Caveman has a pretty cool and simple jig for fluting. Danny Collins used it on one of his recent videos. Looks like a good setup. I got to make one. Okay, so Coffee with a Caveman. I don't recognize that. Let me see. Coffee with. I got to look that up. Let's see. Why don't I recognize that one? It's a fairly new YouTube channel. Let's see. I don't know. I might not find it this way. Let's see. New Age Neanderthal? Is that what it is? Is that the name of the channel? New Age Neanderthal? Let me know, because I don't recognize the Coffee with a Caveman thing. Damon Crowfeather, what's up, brother? Got my bid in and fingers crossed. Awesome. So, okay, I haven't subscribed to this channel. That's why I haven't seen it. Let's see. It has a simple jig. Heat treating rock time lapse. What did he do? Bury the rocks? Yeah, I think so. Looks like he's. Yes. What did he do? Oh yeah, he buried the rocks. Okay. What else? What else? Interesting. I had not subscribed. Mm-hmm. I'll look and see. He doesn't label his videos with titles that describe the contents, right? Yeah, so I'll have to look. I'll have to spend a lot of time looking. Okay. Just does he have the videos numbered? If he has the videos numbered in some way, let us know what the number is of that video where he's got a jig. Oh gosh, I lost my place. Let's see. Hold on a second. If there is a simple jig, I want to know which video so I can recommend it. I'm trying to see. No, wrong button. Okay. Hold on. If I talk, I'll push the wrong button. I'm looking to see if he labels his videos with the date. I knew I saw a number. Let us know what date that he's got that jig in the video. Yeah, all of his videos seem to be numbered with a date. That's how we know, right? Yeah. Okay. Jim Main says, I'm making an AG point. What's the order? Base and notches first? Yes, base and notches first, and then you narrow the main body of the point. You make the preform, it's an oval, and then you do the notches. You thin the base, and then you do the notches first, and then do everything else. Thomas Thompson says, no jigs for me. Yeah, I don't use jigs either, but I know people that they love them. Jim says, Buckskin NYB, your package just walked in my door. I'll get you some obsidian soon, brother. Nice. Killer Cork says, I have that video saved. I can email it to you. Yeah, email it so that I can post the date or give it the name out. And so I can watch it too. Okay. I got a text from Dwayne. Yeah. Okay, so I got to remember that. I'm glad you reminded me. I do want to make that. Let's see. Okay, so Killer Corks. Yeah, send me an email with the link or whatever for the video. Let's see. Okay, I'm responding to that one a little bit later. I got a bunch of spam from things that are similar to my new AI subscription. When I subscribe to some new service, all these little spams come out. Let's see. Okay. I don't need that one. I don't need that one. I don't need this one. I don't need like 90% of these. I got to stop getting these partner offers Okay, I don't need that one. Don't need that. Don't need this. I might need that one. Might need that one. I get repeats on some of these. Don't need that one. All right, so now I can see the important emails. Okay, I got a couple important ones I'll respond to after the auction. All right, everything else was very spammy and just receipts for stuff. Folsom Fluting. He titled it Folsom Fluting, actually made a title for it. Let's see. Yeah, but I got to type in. I can't remember the name. Is it something Neanderthal? Let's see. Indirect Folsom Fluting. The New Age Neanderthal. All right, so yeah. Okay, but that's not a jig, right? It's just a wrapped up little piece of wood.
Yeah, that one sounded pretty decent there. And it looks like I've got remnants underneath here, so we'll see what it turned out. Oh yeah, freaking gorgeous flute, all the way to the tip, just exactly like what we're wanting. And it drove one. All right. This is a good sign if I only lost just the tip. I'm hoping it went all the way to the tip and rolled out. That is my hope, and that is exactly what it did. Oh, no, it's in more than one piece. You know where I told you that low spot was? It broke right. No, it did not. Oh, my goodness, guys. Woo!
Okay, so I see what he's using as a jig. Did I save this one?
Discussion on Folsom points and their flutes. Folsoms aren't just a flute point, they are the fluted point.
Okay, so I could be watching that forever. Sorry about the dead air, but I was trying to concentrate. Okay, thanks for the title. It was a short video. What I was showing you is a short. It's not a full-length video, apparently. Jesse says, I copied the hand jig New Age Neanderthal Aaron made. The only way I've been able to successfully flute. I got some direct flutes, but they went off crooked. I posted a video on my channel, too. Okay, cool. Jim Cooper says, Red-Eyed Patriot, I picked up a double bit Pocket X. All right, so I missed Michael's entrance. Boys, I picked a bunch of sweet case double X knives today and scored. Awesome. So yeah, Michael's here, Red-Eyed Patriot. Let's see. Let's see. Ed says, I got a double I bought in the 60s. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Let's see. Okay. Okay, talking about cars probably. Let's see. A double bit Pocket X. At a yard sale? Oh, yeah. Jim Cooper, apparently you go to lots of yard sales. Yeah. You can pick up good stuff sometimes. Thomas Thompson says, let's see, Pat, crack that rooster, legs go. To crack a rooster means to strike a spall. Crack that rooster, let's go. To crack a rooster means to strike a spall. I didn't know that. Have I heard that one? I haven't heard that one before. Very interesting. Crack that rooster. Let's go. Aaron Wilson says more often than not, when floating with indirect like you use behind the knee, my flutes dive and snap in half. Do you have any tricks to keep that from happening? Just hold it like I was saying earlier. I just hold it firmly like this, and then there's a little pocket here, slight pocket, so it doesn't stop the flake when you hold it. And I'll hold it like this sometimes so that the flake doesn't touch my hand very much. And I don't try for long flutes. I just try for 1/3 because, I'm not getting all fancy with this stuff. I'll try for longer flutes on obsidian or something that I know is going to be relatively easy, but I just hold it like this when I'm driving those thinning flakes. I just reinforce it like this. Just hold it like that. Fluting, not floating. Oh, I see. You're fluting with indirect. You snap it in half. Yep. Hey, Patrick, could you use a 5-pound brass hammer? Asks Dwayne. No, I've already got a big piece of brass for a hammer. Yeah. But thanks anyway. I have a big piece of brass from someone else. Forgive me if I can't remember. And I still need to cut that down because it's a big rod. It's like a 2-inch diameter or more brass solid rod. And it's long. But I can't use something that heavy because I'm not spalling big, huge 100-pound nodules. So I'm going to cut it down. Yeah. I only need like a 10-ounce brass or maybe 1-pound brass billet. Yeah, fluting Folsom, so simple a caveman can do it. Yeah. The trick is to flute it and get it thin. Yeah. But, back in the day, Folsom nappers, back in the day, they would make thick Folsom points out of material that was very difficult to nap. Only the best materials were made really, really thin. Or only the best materials allowed the Folsom nappers to nap thin points. Yeah. Thomas Thompson says a 10-pounder would be good. No, I don't need a 10-pounder hammer. Red-eyed Patriot. Michael says, I napped a nice one out of heat treat buffalo last night. You talking about Folsom? Buffalo means Buffalo River. Sure, right? Heat treated. You got it from Jeff? Or let's see. Who else is selling that right now? Brad Moore? What's Brad Moore selling these days? Dwayne Griffin says I meant copper, not brass. 5-pound copper hammer. Actually, no. I've just got a big old hammer recently. A big old bopper. I sold. Well, no. Let's see. Did I sell one and keep one? I have a big copper hammer from Mike Tufts, and then he said, "Go ahead and sell the other one," and I sold the other one. Right? Yeah. So no. If I got to remember that. If I need one, Dwayne, I'll ask you for sure. Yeah. Let's see. Not a tater chip thin corner notch expanding stem. I got it from Sal. You got the Buffalo River shirt from Sal. Mac Bale says Brad Moore listed Fort Payne shirt today. Okay. I saw something on Facebook that Brad had. So it's Fort Payne shirt. Okay. That's good to know. If it's good quality Fort Payne shirt, that's one of the best materials, I think. Probably got it from Brad, yeah. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna I gotta revise my list of rock sellers because the second most frequently asked question by new nappers is where do I get the tools and the stones? It's tied. Where do I get tools and where do I get rocks? The most frequently asked question is how to start, basically. And then the second most common question is tied for where do I get the tools and where do I get the rocks? So I'm going to revise my list of rock sellers and tool sellers and put that in a separate video and then have Sev narrate that one. So I don't have to spend time setting up for the video. Yeah, I just type it in. It's so fast, especially with the cheap AI generated images. It doesn't take that long to make one. Now, like I said, I could spend money and generate beautiful AI narrated videos that look just like a person is talking. I mean, you can barely tell the difference. Those to me are creepier than the ones you can actually tell it's an AI character. Yeah. It's creepier because, it looks so convincing. And you're wondering, let's see, now, am I watching a lot of videos now that are all AI, especially stuff like news and supposedly informative videos with current events and weather and stuff like that? Are these AI people? Or nutrition videos? Are these AI people? Because they're so realistic now, and they can be programmed to say anything. And if you don't know it's AI, you kind of trust them more. It'll get to the point where we can't tell the difference at all. Because some people are just stiff when they talk and they've got eyes that don't move. The eyes don't do this when they talk, especially on these news channels. They can be replaced with AI characters so easily. So I went to a knife show. I'm going to start napping here in a little bit. So ask questions, please. If you got questions, hit the like button or whatever. If you want to know anything, just ask, except if it's going to be a dumb question. Hey, when are you going to use some good rocks on the videos? You have tons of bad rocks. What are you doing with the bad rocks and stuff? I want good rocks on the videos. Like heat-treated Brazilian agate, a lot of mookaite, what is it called? Nether's chert. I want a good videos like that with good stuff. When are you going to do it? Yeah, that would be a dumb question. I'll do it when I do it. I got little slabs of that kind of stuff. I have to start doing a lot more small point videos so I can use up my slabs of good stuff and little flakes of good stuff. Exotics, I mean. Yeah, I can do that, but they're little pieces. I was going through a lot of big pieces this past year, but I'm probably going to switch back over to small pieces. Okay. So, all right, I'm going to set up to do some napping. Yeah, let's see. I need my apron. Need my napping apron. Hold on a second. And yeah, I'm going to nap that heat-treated coral, in case you're wondering. What I'm going to nap? What are you going to nap? What is it? You'll see in a second. Yeah. The time's not ready yet. It's not time to do it yet. I got 5 minutes, but I'm going to set up anyway. Right? I can still reach Yeah, I can still reach. And then I'm not going to be paying attention to the chat while I'm napping. Okay? So just fair warning.
Yeah, but I was about to ask you a question just now. Just now, when you said you're going to start napping, that's when I want to answer my question.
You got to wait 45 minutes. I'll wrap it up at the end. You can type your question and I might see it. You know, I might go back in the chat. Nap time, let's go. Yeah. Scott Lauer's here. Hey, Pat and Chippers. Scott is from the UK. Let us know where you're from. If you're new, I mean, we already know you, Scott. But anybody else that's new, let us know where you're from. That way, if there's a napper right next to you, you might have a new friend all of a sudden. Yeah. Let me check the auction real fast.
Auction time.
Auction time. Yeah, I know. I know. That's why I'm checking it, because I know it's auction time. Ooh, I missed. There's a lot of bids. Okay. All right. So I'm going to hit the like on all the bids that I see. And if you don't have a like on your bid, that means like I didn't see it. Yeah. Since everyone's bidding a lot on these small points, I'm going to start making more small points because I've got a lot of nice material, but it's in small pieces. Hey, Keith is in the house in the auction. Keith Ricketts. He's not in the live stream. Oh yeah, I'm going to nap a lot more of this English flint and Danish flint. I got Danish flint and English flint coming up, plus a lot of other stuff I've got recently. And then I'm going to start napping all my little stuff. Yeah. I got a lot of responses on the items in the auction. Thanks, guys. This is awesome. Let's see who is winning on the box of flakes and buy faces. Ed Gould. All right. So I think I got the likes taken care of. Now I'm going to start with the napping. I'm going to be using Mike Tuff's boppers, very fancy type boppers. Okay.
Yeah, but you shouldn't use them because I don't have it. I want to use exactly the same what you got.
Yeah. Oh, well. You're just going to have to get a bopper for Mike. Yeah. Let's see. I got to start pinning these heads on Mike because they come loose after about 4 or 5 nodules. I beat them to death. Apparently, I can use flakes like this for little arrowheads. Stuff I'm going to be doing in the future. I'll be doing smaller arrowheads. So I'm saving a bunch of flakes. And I'm not selling them unless I have a lot of extras. You know what I mean? I've got some flakes for sale in the auction this time, but it's because I have extras of those types of flakes. Okay, so it's got a square edge on this side. See that? So I got to take that out. But I've got to be careful about it because I want to get as many arrowhead flakes as possible and not just get a bunch of crud flakes. I want to be able to take off larger flakes or flakes that are difficult to detach from something thin. So it requires a little bit of forethought. There's a crack in it right here, though. See that? That's a very unfortunate spot for a crack. Right through there. It doesn't go all the way through, it looks like. It looks okay on this side. But that's unfortunate because I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. And that thing about controlling flakes. Well, I'm writing a chapter in my book about control of flakes. We shouldn't be using the word control. We should be using more of the word directed. So you direct the initial forces, just like you shoot an arrow. You shoot the arrow, and you don't have control over the flight. You know where it's going to go, but you're not controlling that flight. Same with the flake. You hit the edge, and the flake travels, just like an arrow travels, but you don't control the travel, but you watch and see where it's going to go. All right. You're directing the flake like you're directing the arrow when you shoot an arrow. You're directing it to the target. Now, you don't know what's going to happen in between you and the target. It could be the fletching's not right. You know, you might lose a fletching when you release. You might have, you know, if you have trouble with dominant eye and non-dominant eye switching back and forth when you're shooting, you could switch and you don't even think about it, and you're shooting the arrow in the wrong spot. Stuff like that, you know, stuff you can't control. So what you're doing is you're directing, and then you see what happens after you you release the energy, so to speak. Anyways, let me see. I'm going to take off a big flake to try to get some of that cortex off and skin some of this so I can see if there's more cracks. Okay, so that was a good piece, and I might be able to use some of that. It's kind of cortexy, very little bit of coral on that, and it did stop at the crack. See, it did stop. The crack going across did stop it in a big step fracture. But it's good to know. It's good to know where that is. Yes, yes. So I know where that is. It looks like it only goes part way in and stops. So I'm gonna try to save this length here and get rid of this part. Get rid of this corner here. But I want to get rid of it in a way that allows me to take off some pretty good solid flakes, hopefully. Like that, maybe. Let's see if that worked. I can use that, right? Even if it's triangular. Yeah, I'm Mr. Triangular Flake guy. Yeah. It still didn't take the crack out, though. It just skirted it. You know, I skirted it. Where is it? Shh. It's supposed to go further over here to get rid of that, but it didn't do it. Okay, let's see. So you guys can talk amongst yourselves. You already know the drill. While I'm napping. Let's see. Yeah, you're already doing it. Okay, so let me focus on this here. My goal is to get rid of the cortex and any cracks and stuff. I'm using a 9-ounce lead-filled copper cap type bopper, wooden handle, so it's very weight forward, which makes it a little easier. As far as fatigue goes, you don't get tired using these when it's weight forward. You just let it do the work for you. I'm striking kind of hard, but it's still doing a lot of the work for me. So I just hit directly into the area where the crack was. Okay. Why do I do that? Because nothing else was working. So I just hit right into it. Now it looks like it's going pretty deep. I might have to get rid of that whole side there. I might have to get rid of this whole piece right there and then keep the other side. I don't know. Yes. I didn't get much use out of that last strike. I didn't get many useful pieces. I got a bunch of. I dumped a bunch of dust on my phone. Let's see. So what do? Do I force the crack to go through there? Let's see. Sometimes I'll just hit it and it'll break it, so then I know what I got. But I could ruin the whole thing if I just go ahead and haphazardly just try to break it right now. It may break in a spot that I don't want it to break. Let's see. I don't know. I don't know if I have a choice. Could nap it slowly. Nap it off there slowly. Yeah, just knock a bunch of crud flakes off. But I'd like to preserve it. See, if I hit it and break that whole big chunk off, I could probably make something out of that chunk. But if I just whittle it down little by little, I just get a bunch of crud flakes, and I can't do anything with those crud flakes. So what to do? I don't know. If I think about it too much, it doesn't work right. Yeah. I want to see where the ending is. I want to see where the rest of that crack goes. I see it go through here, but I want to see if it continues all the way. And it does not. It goes off to the side right here. So it goes down, and then it goes off to the side right here. It doesn't go all the way to the tip. So that's good. If I hit it like that, it could just take that whole thing off. Could. Or, if I hit like this, it might break in a weird way. I think I would like to have a chunk rather than a bunch of crud flakes. So, it's too solid. It's too solid. I might have to just, pick at it. Okay. If it doesn't break off with that, I don't want to hit it harder because then I get incipient cracks in there, and it won't be easy to nap later. It'll have a bunch of incipient cracks. It'll be ruining it. All right, so let's whittle it down, since it's not going to come off easy. Oh, wait. A secondary crack in there? I suppose there was a secondary crack. So that came off too easy off the tip there. I think there was a secondary crack. Yeah. So when it rolled off the side there, that wasn't part of this crack. That was a different crack. Okay, I can use that though. It's kind of crackly in there. So there's like more than just that one seam. There's a bunch of seams in here. Yeah. Unfortunately. Yeah, so there's a bunch of cracks. All right, so I'm just gonna whittle at it. Yeah, there it is. So that piece finally broke off. I'm getting down to some solid stuff here. Right? Yes, hopefully. Hopefully it's solid. Take off the cortex. This cap's coming loose. Let's see. Let's go to a different one that does not have a loose cap. Where is it? Okay, that was good. All right, so another Mike Tufts bopper. Okay, so it looks like it's going to be easier. Yeah, that's a good piece. Now that the cracks are gone, it looks like it's going to be a little bit easier. So that's what I got so far. I still have Cortex on that one end, but it looks like I'll be able to make something out of this piece. How much time do I have? It's about 3.5 inches long right now. Okay. All right. So let's see. Let's take off that Cortex. Take off these high spots and lumps. And a little bit of a square edge on this side. Not much Cortex there. It's actually not Cortex. It's just part of the I don't know what you call it. It's petrified coral, so some of it gets silicified and some of it doesn't. Right? Or varying degrees of silicification. Is that what you say? Oh, dang. It naps really easy. So when that happens, sometimes it scoops. And you go, oops. Oops. Uh-oh, all the scoops. Just got to get used to it. All right, so I'm just picking at it to get a biface. I'm watching for cracks. And if I see one, I just got to be aware of it. Not much I can do. There's a crack here. I just nap like that's not a big deal. And sometimes I can run a flake through there and it will remove it and I'll be okay. Sometimes it doesn't work. That's why it's not really a controlled process. You just kind of look and see. Everything is try it and see. Try and see. Yeah. And with all your experience, you can imagine probabilities. You have probability memory, subconscious and conscious memories of these past happenings. And you can kind of formulate a probability in your mind as to what would be safe. It's going to be risky if I do this and not so risky if I do that. You hit it and wait and see. Hit and see. And I'm mentioning that because, like I said, I'm writing a chapter in my book that deals with the probabilities in Flintnapping. It's a probabilistic type of skill. Yeah. So that the easy part's over, right? Now I got to do the hard part, which is the thinning. So I'm going to switch over to indirect percussion for that. It's more accurate and it's also less mind fatiguing because I don't have to be too focused on hand-eye coordination. When you try to focus on hand-eye coordination and the best way to strike it, it gets, cumbersome. It gets fatiguing. This way, it's kind of a no-brainer, I think. Or maybe I've just gotten used to it over the years. What am I checking for? I'm checking for making sure the tip's not all bent or all pitted. The rod is bent a little bit. Now I don't have my hammers with me to unbend it, but a lot of times I'll take some time to unbend it and make it straight again, because it does matter. Yep, any subtle difference will make a difference. In Flintknapping, subtle differences make all the difference. Okay? So what time is it? 7:16. So in 30 minutes, we'll see what I get. Turr typically is fossilated silica from the ocean floor. Yeah. Let's see. Lithic Man is here. Been a while since I tuned in. How's everybody? Good, good. Keith Callahan's here. Hello, everyone. Hi, Patrick. Sorry I'm late for the show, but I made it. Yep, you made it. Cool. Okay. This is very delicate heat treat. I'm finding out that it naps really easy, and it does have some cracks in it, but it's heat treated, well. You can overdo the heat treat to where it becomes way too brittle. Yeah, this looks okay. Yeah. And sometimes the heat treat is so brittle that the edges can't support what you're trying to do. The edges just crush, and it requires an enormous amount of braiding just to keep the edge from crushing. Yeah, I'm not even talking about supporting the flakes, the long, big flakes. Just to keep it from crushing, you got to braid the heck out of it sometimes if it's really delicate heat treat. This one seems to be not that way. It seems to be good. Yeah. Relatively easy peasy. Yeah. So I want to try to make a good point for the auction out of this stuff. See, I'm going to hit the base, but it's thick. And I'm not going to go too far with the flake. And so I'm not supporting it like this, but I could support it like this and hit it. It'd be smarter, actually. Yeah. But I'm used to now doing it, so unless I think it's going to be super risky, I won't grip it like this to support it, because I can grip it like this to support it in any way that I need to if I think it's going to snap. Anyways. So it's starting to thin down. I'm working the ends first, right? The middle is always the thickest. From start to finish, on the final stages, the middle is always the thickest, unless there is a certain point style that says that this needs to remain thick on the base. Some point styles, especially like in Texas, there's a Martindale, which is very thick on the base. This is an early archaic type point, as an example. I got to watch that I don't thin down the Martindale bases too much, as an example. There are other types that have the same thing. Very thick stems and bases. But with this particular piece, I'm just doing a generic biface, which is thin on both sides, or thinner than the middle. Why did they leave it thick in the base sometimes? It had to do with their hafting, right? They needed a really strong hafting for whatever they're using it for, or they thought they needed something really strong. Yeah. Mm-hmm. A lot of this stuff, the shapes and the shapes of the stems and the depth of the notches and the length of the blades are trial and error type stuff for their particular way of life or hunting or use of the tools. A lot of the tools are knives. Depends on how they were using the knives, what they were hafting the knives to. Sometimes they were just hanging the knives as pendants and they needed a thick stem or whatever because they would just hold on to it right there. I don't know. Yeah, like that. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, like that. See, that's not too hard. Yeah. It's hard to get a lot in a row where they all cooperate. I say hard instead of saying it's lucky. I should be saying, oh, that was lucky. I mean, it's really lucky to get a lot of these good flakes in a row because you can't foresee every possible obstacle. Or sometimes I just don't pay attention too much, even if, I could pay attention more, but I don't. And then, oops. Anyways, I'm trying to focus here. So there might be some dead air while I'm doing this. There's always one spot that tends to not want to thin down. And I hope it doesn't happen with this one. So far, so good. When it doesn't want to, you just gotta, think of a different angle of attack. It might start getting risky to thin it down more, too risky. And you say, okay, that's good. I'll stop. Sometimes I wait until I make a mistake and I said, okay, that's it. I stop. I will stop because I'm making mistakes or I made one bad one and oh boy, that's enough. I reached my limit. Yep. See, on a regular video, you'll be able to see better, but this one will give you some perspective on how hard I'm hitting. You can kind of tell that it's an easy peasy material as far as effort on removing flakes. It's never easy peasy on knowing exactly where to remove the flakes, but when it gets down to actually removing it, it's not that hard because it naps well. Just where do I remove that flake? Right there? I don't know. No? The edges, I need to grind them down a lot more. Yeah. To get the flakes that I'm thinking of getting right now, this edge is too delicate. And the base is too fat. So can you see? Right now, this base is getting too fat because I've been running flakes kind of in the middle. Yes. Can't see. So I'm going to thin the base down a little bit. And I'll be using these diagonal strikes. And some going straight in, but a lot of them diagonally. Because you never know. You got to play it kind of safe. And I'm hitting I'm hitting it right here in the middle, but I'm going to hit it at an angle like this instead of hitting it inward to remove that lump. I can go straight in to remove the lump, but I'm going to hit it this way to remove the lump. Okay. And voila. And it's less risky that way. Because this material is sweet. It looks sweet. Yeah. Can you see that? Some of you say, oh, now you're napping good stuff. Where's it been? You should break that out whenever you're on the video. We don't want to see no cruddy stuff. Yeah, I know. So where's it been? It's been sitting out there on top of the big obsidian chunk. I'll get to it. Don't worry. Yep. Got a big old obsidian chunk that I'm going to start napping into a blade. Big old blade. You thought I forgot about it, huh? I was talking about making little points. Thought I forgot about the big old obsidian chunk. No, I haven't forgot about it. It's just sitting right there. I am going to do it. I don't know what I'm going to do with the finished piece, though. What am I going to do? Am I going to sell it in the auction? I don't know. I don't know yet. I got to make sure. If I promised Danny Collins, if I promised him something, I got to make sure I do it. I got to look back on the emails. He's the one that sent me that big obsidian chunk. Yes, yes. Danny Collins is a sponsor of the channel. What am I missing? Justin Cornelius is here. I missed your entrance. Jim Collins. Who did I miss? Hey, Sal's in the house. Awesome. Awesome. Everybody's here. 728. 42 people and 29 likes. So I'm napping in petrified coral. Heat treat. Petrified coral. It's nice. It's nice stuff. Let's see. Yeah, see, it's nice. I'm getting notices. Why am I getting bugged when it hadn't been getting bugged earlier? Of course, it's going to bug me right when I'm trying to focus on this. It's got speckles in it. It reminds me of poppy seed bread. Yeah, I used to be Mr. Bread. Eat Mr. What is it? What am I trying to say? I used to be Mr. Breads. I would have to have my grains every day. Yeah. I love poppy seed bread. Oh, yes. I don't eat that junk anymore. I still like it, though. Oh, yeah. When I visited my family over the weekend, I ate some ice cream and salads. Yeah. What else did I eat? What else am I not supposed to eat that I ate over the weekend? I had some apple pie. Yeah. Last week. Yeah, I don't eat the carbohydrates anymore. I'm on a carnivore diet. Unless I'm cheating on my diet when I'm around friends and family. Yeah. But yeah, today in the house, I just ate ground beef, liver, and did I have chicken today? I got three things. I got ground beef, liver, and chicken. I think I just ate the ground beef and liver so far. Yep. Oh, and like a bunch of little raspberries, enough to fit in my hand. I have raspberry bush outside, so I did have some raspberries. I should not be eating those because just a little bit of sugar from the raspberries makes me gain weight. Yeah. It shifts my whole metabolism to a weight gaining metabolism when I eat any kind of sugar. So I'm slowly whittling it down very carefully, very cautiously, very carefully. I don't want to break this piece. The edges don't really want to support the flakes that I need when it starts getting this thin. That's always the problem, right? Hey, not supposed to do that. Just the weak areas. Don't be taking off big flakes. That was lucky that it didn't ruin it. Yeah, I took off a big flake with the abrader. Now I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah. I think I was saying something about thinning. Oh yeah, the edges, when they get this thin, they don't want to support the flakes I need. I want big, bold flakes, even at this thin stage. Don't be doing that. Dropping it right on top of the... Luckily, it dropped on top of this and not on top of the bopper. Yeah. If it drops on top of the bopper and it hits the copper, it's a goner. All right. Nice. Okay. Yes, okay. The edge is doing well. I'm getting worried though, because I'm beginning to take bites out of the edge. That signals that the edge is getting way too thin. So I took a little bite out of the edge there. When it starts doing that, it's starting to get too thin. And I got to say, okay, that's good. We'll call it good. Yeah. And stop banging on it with the percussion. Just finish it out with pressure. But I want to try to squeeze a little bit more thinning out of it. Yeah. Just a little bit more. Famous last words. Just a couple more flakes right there. Shouldn't be too hard. Wait, grind it more. Yeah. All right. And no bites. Do not bite me. There we go. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to call it good. All right. I'm going to call it good here. I'm going to get back in the chat. So I don't dare go any further than that. And I'm going to get back into the chat. Let's see. Move hand that way. Yes. Head this way and hand that way. So that's as thin as it's going to get. Now I measure it. Started out 3 inches and something earlier, and now it is at 3 1/8. Okay. I forget what it started out as. By 1 7/8. Now the width to thickness ratio, it's 50 millimeter, and then by 7 millimeter. 7 to 1. Okay, 7 to 1 width to thickness ratio. Very nice. So it held together really well. I don't need to thin it any further than that. Yep, I just work on the edges. So that was good. I am glad I did not break it. Although it got all crackly in the beginning, I can still use some of these pieces. I don't know about that one. I might have to trash that one. But yeah, I can whittle these down and make little points out of these. This one is okay for an arrowhead, a small one. And I got little flakes here. I'm going to sort through these. Some of these are good. Yeah. Oh. Let's see. I broke that one up to see if there was a lot of cortex. Yeah, there's a lot of cortex associated with that big flake, so I'm not going to use any of this. Okay.
What if it was good and you messed it up? Why did you smash it like that?
I had a feeling it was nasty. Yeah. So I took the risk and proved it to myself. Luckily, I didn't ruin something good. I've done that before. I've ruined good stuff. Yeah. Not very smart, no. But at least I know afterwards. Anyways, I gotta empty my boots. I didn't see anything, so that was good. Yeah, try to get this book. I don't know if it's still for sale or available. A lot of these are out of print. Maybe on Kindle, but no one likes Kindle for some reason. I don't want a Kindle book. That means I gotta scroll through on my phone. Yeah. I don't like it. Okay, well. Oh, well. Let's see here. I think maybe Kindle is going to go out of business, right? Did I hear that Kindle was going to go out of business? I don't know. That would not be good, because then where else are you going to find these books? Or they got something else now. Amazon's got a reader now that you can order electronic books. Well, I know I got a subscription to Amazon. Yeah, I can buy books and read them online and listen to them. Audiobooks. I don't think they have that Flintknapping book as an audiobook. All right. Well, so let's see who is here and who isn't. Who is square and who's not. Be there or be square. Be here or be square. Also. Okay, so hold on a second while a little bit more cleaning up here. I'm going to sweep off this, because I dumped a bunch of debris on my little table where my computer is. I shouldn't be blowing all this dust everywhere, but oh well. Okay. Yes. I like it. It's kind of translucent too, I bet. Let's see. Is it translucent? Oh yeah. It is translucent. Can you see the flake scars for once? Yeah. I gotta remember this position. And yeah, I get rough spots and terminations that are not feathery, and I just leave it. I don't care. See, there's an abrupt termination, but it's not a step fracture. It's like a hinge. But I don't mind those. I'll just leave them in. I don't care. I'll leave them in. Yeah. I mean, I care a little bit, especially if I'm going to sell it. Okay. Where did I miss? Let's go to the end of the chat. Sal says, I didn't do it, officer. What are you talking about? What are you guys talking about here? No square edges there or here. Let's see. Roy Johnson, I'm here and I'm square. You're still square? That's not good. Let's see here. Good display of flake scars. Thank you, thank you. I'm glad that worked. Dwayne Griffin. Stylely designed to say, Patrick, he says, Patrick, make an audiobook. Yeah, I'm going to make a bunch of videos and then I'll make a playlist and then you can listen to all the videos. Yeah, it'd be just like an audiobook. I got to not write so technical. So technically, when I'm in the zone, I'll write technically and then I'll ask, I'll run it through the AI and make sure that I didn't make any logical grammar that I didn't make any logic or grammar mistakes. Then I post it. Sometimes I'll ask it to critique what I wrote, and then I'll rewrite. It does a critique based on what either it's a general critique, like is there any possibility of that being wrong? It'll give you some suggestions on how to correct it according to chat and just banter on the internet. It'll tell you, oh, there was an instance where someone was talking about it in this kind of way or whatever. Or you can ask it to critique it for anything. So I'll do that and then I'll post it. And then I'll try not to write in a technical or difficult to understand way. It's just difficult to cram it all into 30 seconds. Or, I mean, not 30 seconds, 3 minutes. Now shorts can last 3 minutes. But even with 3 minutes, trying to cram it in is difficult without speaking in a way that's not very understandable. Too many concepts at once without being able to explain each concept is what the problem is. Yeah, there's an actual art to be able to explain things in a short amount of time so that it's understandable. But a lot of times, especially when I'm looking at what these new superstars in primitive skills are doing, they'll make a lot of views on their shorts, but they're not informative. They're just entertaining. The presentation's good, but the content isn't. Yeah, shining a light in our eyes like we're in an interrogation, says Mike. Yeah. I mean, you deserve some since I've been napping with that in my face the whole time. Yeah. Why should I have all the misery? Let me check the auction, okay? 44. All right. We got like 26 minutes, right? No, 16 minutes before I have to say goodbye. Yeah. But I want to see the auction and make sure I've got likes on all the bids. Yes? Yeah. That's a good policy to do or a thing to do. Oh, we got new bids. Dang, you guys like the AG points. I need to do more of those after I get off of this Scotts Bluff episode. Yeah, there's new bids on everything. Almost everything. Yep. Okay. So, in case you don't know, there's an auction going on. I'm going to declare the winners at 9 p.m. Eastern time, which is a little bit more than an hour from now. Damon Crowfeather's here. Do you have Instagram, Mr. Crafty? Yeah, I've got Instagram. Unfortunately. Why? Unfortunately, because it sends me notices and I don't like it. See, look at us trying to do. Look at it. Allow notices. Allow Instagram to send you notifications. I'm going to say don't allow. Yeah. All right. But I'm going to try to tell you what my Instagram is. What is it asking now? See your own view counts on your grid. Only you can see how many views your posts and reels get. Anyone can see them on your Reels tab. You can hide view counts anytime in settings. I don't want to hide my view counts. I want to know how many views. Okay? Right? That's me. That's me. It's Patrick Blank. That's me on Instagram. I have followers. Look at all of them. Look at them all. 1,000. I'm following 1,800. Dang. But yeah, I got a bunch of arrowheads. Funny how that works, right? I got pictures of arrowheads. A lot of these are previous auctions. I stopped photographing my auction points. I probably should start doing that again, but I stopped because on one of the photo shoots, I had dropped one of the auction points and broke it. Broke a little tip off. I didn't break it badly, but this was after I had already filmed the auction. I went and I tried to photograph the points, and I dropped one and broke a tip. And I said, this is not good because I've already shown the artifacts or the auction items, and now I broke one. Now I got to re-show it as an update that I broke one during the auction so that people will know for sure what happened. Or know immediately, not for sure. Know right away what happened, so when they're bidding, they'll be aware. Yeah, so I stopped doing it. And some people say, why don't you just photograph the auction points before the auction? It's still the same problem. I could end up breaking one and it won't be as valuable. So I stopped doing it. Yeah. And I don't photograph my side projects because people go, wait a second. Is that mine? No, something similar. Where's mine? Or, yeah, that's yours. Okay, well, why are you holding on to it? I want to take pictures. Dang it. Yeah. Anyways, what was I going to do? I get distracted. Dwayne sent me photos of the hammers and stuff. Let's see. Okay. I'll get to the Dwayne. If you're still there, I'll get to the text in a little bit. Okay. Jim Cooper says, stop watching the survival shows on TV long on drama and entertainment with no educational value. Yeah, that's true. The content is not good. The presentation is great, but the content. Let's see. Ed says the AG is my favorite. Sal says, Patrick, I don't think you saw my other message, but you have a package leaving Waxahachie, Texas tomorrow. Oh, dang, thanks. Yeah, I didn't see it. Let me go back in the chat. All right. I read that one. Okay, I read those. I didn't miss too much, I don't think. But thanks, Sal. Yeah. Roy says, I found a way to nap. Zigzagging is good, but small points are truly fragile, Lithic Man. Thank you, though, my friend. Yeah. Gloves and goodies from Sal. Awesome. Styly designs. 10 more minutes. Yeah, we got 10 more minutes left in the in the live stream. Let's see. I tried to watch Alone recently. I couldn't stand the drama. Yeah. Patrick, do you find that when you're making, let's see, do you find that when you're making small points, truly fragile? Do you find that they're truly fragile? I find that the bigger points are more breaky than the smaller points. I get really nervous. The longer they get, the more nervous I get because they break so easily. Yeah. The bigger points drive me nuts. Not only because it takes forever, because there's so much flaking involved, especially when it comes to sharpening, but they just the danger of snapping those is so in your face constantly. Whereas with a smaller point, I don't have the same issue with snapping it. You know, this size and smaller, I don't have that much of an issue with snapping it in half. When it starts to get bigger than this, yes. That's my experience. Let's see. Oh, Ed says he gave me $80 for an AG I got last year. Nice. I gotta make more of those. Let's see. Ken says, I've always liked Survivor Man. Which ones did I watch? I watched Alone, and I watched, I had seen the original Survivor a couple times. Well, a couple seasons, I guess. But not too many. Aaron Wilson's here. Let's see. Patrick. Okay. Jim says, Patrick and I are on the opposite sides of the spectrum. I have a hard time with the little points and love the big ones. Yeah. Opposite sides. Yeah. See how different nappers can be? Yeah. Ken says, I like that Alone had a bunch of knowledgeable people. I just thought the drama was a little heavy in the first episode or two. Yeah. Someone sent me a video of a guy making points with a microscope. Oh, I've seen that guy. Yeah. Roy says, I meant when you're thinning the points, or maybe it's just me. Well, yeah. It's a different ball game when you're thinning small points than when you're thinning big points. It's a different ball game. You have to get used to it. Yeah, you're going to break a lot of small points until you get used to them. Yeah. Now, if you never get used to them, there's something going on where you're not advancing in your skill level. You got to figure out what that is. Mike says to watch Survivor Man properly, you need food at hand so you can eat while he starves. Let's see. Talking about Survivor. Excuse me. Flintknapper Zalman is the channel. He's really good. Yeah. He does eccentrics and all kinds of stuff. Right? Yeah. I've seen some of the eccentrics, those designy type things. Let me see. Okay, so we got 6 minutes left in the live stream. Please ask your questions before we wrap up. I'm going to wait a little bit. I won't wrap it up at exactly 8 o'clock because, people show up at 8:05 and go, hey, I'm here. Yeah. I think that's the funniest thing. Thanks, Patrick. I hope that I'll try a different way of thinning. Yeah. Try pressure thinning. Yeah. And switch back and forth. I'll tell a lot of guys in the beginning, the angles for thinning with percussion and pressure are the same. And if you're having trouble with percussion thinning, just do a lot of pressure flaking. And then when you go back to percussion, just use the same angles. You're just using percussion instead of pressure. Now, if you're pushing a lot with your pressure flaking, as far as pushing inward, it's going to be different. It depends on how you do your pressure flaking. But for the most part, most guys, especially new guys, they're just pushing it. They're not doing excessive inward pressure stuff. Okay. There are many different ways to hold a pressure flaker. And most of the new guys just basically are pushing flakes in one particular way. And they don't know enough to use an advanced technique, let's say. So I just tell them it's the same angles with percussion and pressure. Just do a lot of pressure and then use the same angles. And then you can modify it slightly. But these slight modifications are almost imperceptible. Yeah. Mike Tuff says, Patrick, you'll have a test bopper coming your way. You already know the weight, 9 ounces. Yeah. It's totally new type of epoxy. I made one for you and me. Awesome. Jim Cooper says, how about we talk about or discuss overshot technology? I know it's your favorite subject. Yeah, no, it's too favorite for me. I'm going to have too much fun. There's no way to talk about that. No, you can't have too much fun. Let's see. Let's see. Ken says, I've been trying to find any content on napping or Paleolithic history. Any suggestions, movies, shows, and documentaries? Paleolithic history. I mean, there's a bunch of new stuff now. I'm trying to think. What was I searching that I got a bunch of like Neanderthal and that kind of stuff? But just type in Neanderthal as a search on YouTube. Yeah, there's a bunch of new stuff. Cro-Magnon. I think it's what's the name of the channel? I know North O2 has a bunch of stuff, and then there's another one. Plausible explanations or something weird like that. Let me see. There's a channel called blah 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 explanations or blah 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 stories or something. It has a lot of old. I'm looking through my history to see if I had actually clicked on one of those videos. It looks like I did not. Right. No. Oh, highly compelling. Okay. Highly compelling.
This is a key implication of the male.
Let me see. Come on. I was watching a video. It's called Highly Compelling. You can't see it because they cut it off. I'm trying to figure out how to get that to show you the whole title, but it's Highly Compelling. The Dark Secret of Neanderthal Homo sapien interbreeding, for example. Okay. But the channel Highly Compelling has a bunch of videos. I don't know if that helps. Roy says, I've got a secondary Parkinson's disorder. I'm trying to push too hard when pressure napping. Mike Mason says, Patrick, do you have a workout routine? No, actually. I know I got to do basic exercises. Oh, I know my basic exercises. They're mostly the military type stuff with sit-ups and push-ups, and I try to do some kind of aerobic exercise. Lately, I've been doing the stair step machine at the gym. So I need those three. I need some kind of aerobic exercise, push-ups and sit-ups, and then from there I go to chin-ups and curls, and I'll lift some heavy weight. I also do weight for my shoulders so I don't get impingements anymore, or to prevent impingements. The best exercise I found is just hold a heavy weight straight out and just let it sink. As you're holding it, you can't hold it forever, and you just let it sink, and you keep holding it until you can't hold it no more. Then you go try it again. That strengthens the muscles that are opposite from what you're using for pressure flaking. That works for me. But as far as routine, when I go to the gym, I just do whatever. Ken says, thank you. I found it. Just the kind of thing I was looking for. Awesome. Okay, yeah, the next live stream, it's already past the time. Let's see who shows up. Mike Tuff says, man, this sucks coming in late. All right, so Wednesday is the next live stream from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, and if you live in some weird place, just go, hey, Google, what time is it my time when it's 2 p.m. Eastern? That way you'll show up on time and not like at 4:05 p.m. going, hey, everybody, how's it going, man? That went by fast. Yeah, it went by pretty fast. We need a Flintknapper workout video. I guess so, yeah. Not going to be me, though. Not anytime soon, anyway. I might do one. That'd be interesting. All right, so Sal says goodbye, guys. I'm going to say goodbye here in a minute. Everyone said goodbye. Live stream is over. I'm going to look at the auction. I end the auction at 9 p.m. and then I announce the winners starting at 9:01. And then you got to send me, if you're new at the auction, you got to send me an email so I know your real name and your address, and we'll work out payment. Okay? Ralph Snyder says, hey, everybody, what's going on? Too funny. Yep. All right. We'll see you later. Take care. Good to see everybody. Thank you. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.